What's up, gamers? It is I, the People's Machine, coming back with you with another episode of the Gaming Round Table, brought to you, of course, by Unpaid Gamers on YouTube.com and Twitch.com, but primarily YouTube.com. That's Unpaid Gamers. This is the Gaming Roundtable, and I am the People's Machine, your host. It has been some time since I've done a video. The last video I did was on Dolmen, which was a game that I really liked. And on May 21st, it's July 10th. I didn't do an entire video in June, which is a travesty. Me and Post-Human Guy have been talking about doing our monthly thing. And of course, we have not done that yet, and just coordinating stuff. June was kind of busy for me. And whatnot. A lot going on my end, but mainly July in particular is very busy for us. Me and my fiance, we camp with the family beginning of June. We go to Rochester at the end of June. Lots of stuff goes on in between. Her grandparents are in town, and we've been helping out there and doing different things. And so it's just been very busy, and the last couple of months, and it's not really an excuse. I haven't had a lot to talk about. But after I do this video tonight, I am going to bring you a new game that came out on PlayStation 4 that I just absolutely fell in love with. It's called Dungeons of Sundaria. Do not listen to some of the shit talkers about the game, because I'm going to talk about the game and show you things about it, and I'm going to tell you why I personally love the game and recommend it. So as always, not a review, but I'm going to show you the ins and outs of the game, because I believe that you just got to play this game. It's great. But this is Gaming Roundtable Rant. I know over the last several months I promised stuff like from the beginning and different things like that, and it always have a difficult time. Especially my PlayStation. Just recently, my external hard drive decided to give up its ghost. It just made this weird knock sound. I mean, it was very loud. And then it made this terrible humming sound. And now it doesn't work at all. So it was my primary source to keep as many games loaded on my library as possible, to talk about, do different things. Unfortunately, it's done and bellied up. So until I get another one, and it's weird because they haven't really gone down in price in like the last 5 years. It's strange. It's just storage, right? But I have a 1 tera internal, so anything I'm downloading, I'm keeping it under 30 gigs. So there's a lot of games that I don't have on my system. I re-downloaded Evolve. In the process of that hard drive getting bad, something happened with an upload to the cloud saves. And like my entire save library on the actual internal hard drive, and something happened with the cloud saves again. It's like the second time that the clouds kind of failed me. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that before, but all my cloud saves literally said non-installed application. It was really strange. I got in touch with Sony, and it just didn't work. So I lost everything again for like the umpteenth time. I'm so sick of it. And I still love my PlayStation, but at the same time, you know, I've thought very long and hard about switching over, just getting an Xbox One, and because I never had these problems with the 360. So I just have to say, and with the issues Sony has, like going onto their store and you're browsing for 30 seconds and the whole thing just freezes or locks up on you, which has been going on for 8 or 9 years. I really fucking hate their architecture at this point. It makes no sense. It made no sense that my hard drive just made that loud knock. I can plug it in, it has a light on, but nothing happens. I don't know what happened, and Sony seems to think and told me, well, it must have been a power surge from the system or through the system and affected your hard drive. That actually did not happen. They are full of shit. So don't believe anything their customer service people tell you. Fuck them, and don't really care about that. But let's not get into that. But this is the Gaming Roundtable Rant. This is going to be a rant, but not necessarily towards Sony. I was just telling you exactly what was going on. But this is a rant I thought about the other day, and I thought it was important. I thought it was important to bring to the Gaming Roundtable audience and the Unpaid Gamers audience, or just so that you all understand the context of this, this kind of is a broad thing dealing with a couple companies, and I just want to throw this out there real quick. And we're going to start this rant with fucking DICE, who's the creators of Battlefield. And everybody knows the fiasco is Battlefield 5. And I'm not going to, you know, and the new Battlefield 2042, whatever. And I'm not going to get into that per se. But here's what I am going to get into. Listen here, you fucking assholes. First of all, Battlefield 3 and 4 and Bad Company 2 were very successful games. 3 and 4 in particular, highly successful multiplayer centric shooter with campaigns. Multiplayer was primarily what people played and focused on. Several patches, different things. If the game was playable at launch, I actually played Battlefield 3 at launch, and I've talked about how Caspian Border was the first map I ever played. I never really had played a Battlefield before then, and I fell in love with the series. Went back and played Bad Company 2, got the fourth one, and so on and so forth. And the erroneous thing about what had happened, not just with Battlefield 5, but in particular with this new one, where they had gotten rid of, like, you know, the scoreboard, and they had kind of basically got rid of the classes and blah, 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 and the game failed. Financially failed for them from their projections. The game failed in general with its bugs. The player base lost 95% of their player base within the first month. And it left DICE kind of scratching their heads, and EA, who published it, like, what the hell's going on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. And this is directed directly at the people who work at DICE. And that goes up from the CEO of DICE down to the lowly person who cleans the toilets. If they had anything to do with the dumpster fire that was the last Battlefield that was released, the 2042 or whatever. Come on. And sorry, that was my cat. First of all, DICE, fuck you for ever thinking, and for whatever reason, you all sat around when you were making this game and said, you know what, Battlefield 3 and 4 and Bad Company 2, you know, they were very successful, and we didn't have like we had a season pass, but not much in the way of microtransactions. But what made that such a big hit for us? And we were kind of competing with COD and blah, blah, blah. And the point is, you decided that successful formula that made you all millions of dollars, you decided to take out everything for the new 2042 or whatever, everything that made those 3 and 4 and Bad Company successful, made you millions of dollars, and take it all out of there. And you kind of put it out there as if, like, we wanted to do this and we wanted to do that, and this is why, and you had these excuses. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a former Battlefield player and part of the community, and I speak collectively, I think, for this community, nobody fucking asked you to do that. Who sat around and said, hey man, you know, I know this is a multiplayer-centric, competitive multiplayer game, but fuck a scoreboard? Who thought that was a good idea? And if one of you fucking quivering fucking vaginas that work at DICE on the board of directors, or whoever was programming it, or one of you people suggested, well, people might get, you know, sad if they see that they got killed a lot, and we don't want to hurt people's, you know what, just fuck you and your woke ass bullshit. Not everybody's going to be good at a game. It might take months to get good at Battlefield. I never did. I was good at taking flags, but I was never good at the game. I never had, like, you know, 60 kills. I don't think collectively in 10 games I played back to back I had 60 kills. But I did like playing the game. But the point is I know they did that because they want to hurt people's feelings. And once again, nobody fucking in the entire Battlefield community ever wrote you, ever said, or demanded that you take all these things out of the game. And then you patched in the goddamn scoreboard after the fact. Nobody asked you, DICE. Nobody. Not one person. You proved to me, DICE. You proved to me, DICE. Show me on your forums from the developers who wrote you, who played Battlefield all these years, and said, "Dear DICE, will you please remove the scoreboard? Will you please remove this? Will you please remove that?" Nobody fucking asked you to change anything about the game. We wanted goddamn modern combat. That's it. A direct sequel to 4. Fuck World War II. I'm sick of that shit anyway. Give us what we liked in the first place. And you didn't. And your game failed, and it financially failed, and it hurt your business, and you had to do layoffs because you just assumed. You assumed that you could make these changes and we would just accept them. You, over there at DICE, and this is starting with the CEO, COO, and all you guys and the rest of you all the way down, are fucking morons. You are dumb. You are so stupid. None of you all are talented. None of you all have the foresight into making a good game. Let's just face facts here, people. DICE has stopped making good games. The last really good shooter they made was Battlefield 4. And when did that come out? What, 10 years ago? So the whole time this company has been making shit video games. This whole time. That's your company that you support. I don't. I didn't buy that shit. And no one asks them to change anything. You know, this goes all the way back to when, you know, there was 10,000 Resident Evil clones out there, and a lot of the survival horror games, the number, this is probably over 10, 15 years ago, they just all basically sucked. And a bunch of companies got together and all had the same kind of idea, even though they didn't really talk, but they all had the same consensus. These games aren't selling. I guess nobody just likes survival horror games anymore, so we'll just quit making them. Nobody fucking asked you to stop making them. We wanted you to fucking give it a serious fucking thought. Make the game good, not just shovelware everything to us and call it a horror game. And that happened a number of years ago. And I said it then and I say it now. Nobody fucking asked for that. Nobody. Just like games as a service, like the live service thing that they keep pushing on us, like Babylon's Fall and stuff. And even though I am enjoying that game now because where I'm at in the game and I got a feel for the game, I still disagree with all the other stuff. But my point is, these live service games that you keep pushing on us because you want us to play them for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years straight, whatever. Once again, this wonderful concept of this platform for you to make money. Nobody wrote Platinum Games or Epic Games or DICE or Activision with your stupid Cold War bullshit or any of that stuff and asked you for a live service game. This is a whole concept created by them to fucking make money. A platform. Not too long ago I made a video where I said they are not making a video game. They are making a thing to make money disguised as a video game. This is my rant, because Gaming Roundtable rant here is because the shit you're seeing in video games now And they bring, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, like Diablo Immortal with that bullshit and how much money and all money, greed and avarice. Nobody asked you to fucking do that. Nobody did. If Battlefield 2042, going back to them, basically just gave us an up-to-date, this is a new Battlefield, it's modern combat, and gave us what we wanted, which was just basically a better version of 4, it would have been hugely successful. It would have made them tons of money. It would have been like a return to form. Wow, this is like a sequel to 4. The scoreboard, the competitive multiplayer, everything. And they just didn't do that. But if they would have had a hugely successful game. You know what? And I say this about Activision too. The shit that they're doing. Nobody fucking asked you to do that. Nobody asked you to, you know, you make Black Ops 4 and you put a Battle Royale mode in it, but then you decide, let's take that, make a free-to-play version called Warzone, and then further at that, and then we'll make a non-free-to-play. What the fuck are you doing? Nobody asked you to do any of that shit. Nobody asked you. Please, on the Activision website, you people who run Activision, Blizzard, the whole 9 yards, all of you, just please put up something on there that shows and proves to us that thousands of people wrote you and said, please do this with this game, because nobody fucking did, and you fucking can't. So you all fucking suck. Nobody asked Bethesda Games to make an online Fallout game that just basically sucks, and it sounded so great on paper. Oh, no NPCs, and then you threw them back in there because you realize this don't work. But nobody asked you to do that. All we really wanted, and what was asked of them, just give us like Fallout 4 and let us play with our friends, co-op or even online. Just that's all you have to do. Which they could have done it at the time with the netcode. They chose not to. And so it's a $60 fucking steaming pile of shit that took forever to work. And now I can go in there and play, but at any given time there's like 3 people in the world. And I can log out of that server and jump in another one. There'll be 3 people in that world too. Sometimes the other day, well, not the other day, but I'd say 3 weeks ago, I downloaded to see what was going on in it, and I got on the server, and nobody. I was the only one. The only one on a Friday night after 8 p.m. that was playing on that server. Nobody asks these companies, so when you get review bombed and you got the community up in arms and they got to give out their standard, substandard fucking apology, we hear you and we're listening. Nobody asked for that. And nobody asked you to make the game the way that you did. And if you're caving to your publisher who gives you the money that says you're going to do this because this should work, none of it has worked for you. The 2042 Battlefield did not work for you. Battlefield 5 didn't work for you. 2 games in the last, 4 years? Complete failure? And the fact that they actually act stupid about it. They actually act dumb about it. We don't understand. We don't get it. We don't know why this failed. Really? And then you want to throw shade like Ubisoft did and other game companies at From Software's Elden Ring, and they can't understand why it's so successful. They made an open world. We don't understand. We don't get it. And you threw shade at it because it outsold some of your open world games, Ubisoft, who has become formulaic and stale and fucking boring. Last year after Christmas, me and my fiance had contracted COVID-19. I don't know which variant it was. You know, we could have had the Ziploc variant. I don't fucking know. But the point is, I bought Far Cry 6 because it was on sale, and I needed something to do for a couple of weeks since I wasn't going to be at work. And I started playing it, and she said, you know, these Far Cry games look really good. And she was playing Primal because I bought her Primal. I thought that might be a good introduction. It has survival mechanics and things. She loves open world with survival games. Loves that genre. She's very specific. And she said, well, how is Far Cry 6? I said, well, I've been playing it for maybe 30 minutes. And you see this gun I'm using right here? This rifle with the little, you know, with this mod on it and stuff? She said, well, yeah. I said, it's the first gun they gave me, and it will be the last gun I use, because it's going to be the best gun in the game, because that's Far Cry the last few years. The other weapons are pointless to use. And it doesn't matter that they dressed it up with the weird armor things, and and you can this or that in the game, and while the game looks good and it's a big map and blah blah blah, why are you keep just making the same fucking game on repeat? In New Dawn, which I love, they're more roleplay centric Far Cry. The first weapon you get is the Saw Blade Launcher. It's literally the best fucking weapon in the entire fucking game. It's a medium to long range, believe it or not, especially upgraded. Stealth. One shot kills almost everything, especially when it's fully upgraded. Nothing. It kills everything. It's the first weapon you get. It's just always that with these game companies, and they throw shade at From Software because Elden Ring's successful, and they can't figure out, we don't understand why. Why are people gravitating? Because From Software makes video games. They do not make a platform to sell a shit disguised as a video game. That's why people love it. It's an open world game with not 1,000 icons everywhere, like your bullshit Assassin's Creed series, which more or less is the same shit over and over again. And then again with Ubisoft and their bullshit where they put out Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they got rid of the loot system from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which everybody loved. But for some reason, if you look at the developers before the game came out, they actually said and stated, we didn't think a whole lot of people were complaining about there was just too much loot. And we wanted to centralize Valhalla and streamline it and yada. Who the fuck wrote you and said, yeah, we just don't like all that loot. It's just too much to deal with. You fucking kidding me? No one ever has said that, ever. That's like me playing Borderlands and saying, yep, I know there's 64 million different guns in the game, but man, that's probably a bit too much. Yeah, I just don't like getting shit. And it's just ridiculous. And I don't understand how and why these game companies, these development AAA guys, just change their games so much and nobody asked you to. And then you throw it out there as if we asked you to change it. And then you don't know why it failed. It's frustrating. And no offense to Call of Duty, but it's played out. It has not changed at all. The last COD released feels the same as the one before that and the one before that. And then you had that series of futuristic games that all kind of felt the same. You know, the crazy, fast, insane shit in that. But it's more or less the same fucking game. And then you took your like I said earlier, your Battle Royale mode, and then you made it its own fucking thing. And you're like, well, here's a free-to-play version, but then we have this other paid version. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked the shit that happened with the last Battlefield. Nobody fucking asked. You know, I love Far Cry. But I'm fucking tired of seeing, oh, here comes another Far Cry. It's going to be the same fucking shit that I played. Because I played 6 and played 3 story missions and 3 side quests, and then spent the rest of the time for a week just playing and leveling up and maxed my character out. And the final region in the game asks you to be like rank 8. I was double that. And I walk in, I'm like, dead, 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 beat it. Literally. And again, with the first starting weapon. And it's the same thing. Take over this base, and then I'm going to fly over here. There's these icons there. And while they add these little snippets of new shit to it, it was the same fucking game I've been playing. And nobody asked Ubisoft to continuously copy and paste their fucking shit. This is true. This is true. And it's sad to me because I don't want that to be a thing. I don't want game companies to change the shit that was successful. Streamline it, make improvements, but don't just remove all kinds of shit. It's kind of like, and John, you will contest to this. Well, this year's wrestling game, well, they took that out. Well, the next year has it back in. Like Madden does this shit all the time. And you're like, hey, look at this new feature that was in the game 5 years ago. Why are you removing shit? And no one asked you to. You just do it on your own accord. And sometimes you do it and then sell it back to us. Oh, look at this new feature. No, fuck you. No one asked you to do that. So don't. And you just listen to the same companies, these big companies, over and over and over say, we don't understand why this failed. We're just not understanding. We don't know. We hear them and yes, community, we're sorry. Because they can't figure out why they failed. What do you mean you don't? How do you not know or see that? If we never fucking asked you to take anything out or change anything and this is what we want, and you say you're listening to us, but you're not. You're not. You know, these same big AAA companies, a couple last year said in an article that I read, we don't understand the resurgence of these indie games. We don't get it. These indie titles are making a lot of money. They're really like making a lot of money. And these titles are they're not even, I mean, look what we do. And they're barely within, and they're so successful. They literally, 2 companies said they don't understand why these small indie titles are getting so successful. They can't figure it out. You know why? Because they are indie. They are from small companies. They know they can't compete against you, but the best part is they did compete against you without even knowing it. Because they're not making me do microtransactions and this and that and loot boxes and all the bullshit. And let's take out features and then put them back in or sell them to you later and let's, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not what happened. They are, a lot of indie titles are for people and by the people. The shit of it is, so much of these game companies, we never asked you, man. We never asked you to remove shit, change shit, make your game completely like how it was, because nobody likes that and nobody's going to buy it. So you need to wise the fuck up and realize when the next game comes out, the next Battlefield, the next Battlefront, the next COD game, the next, innovate. Don't take shit out. Just innovate it. Make the controls tighter. Look at Monster Hunter, a game I love. Monster Hunter World did streamline the Monster Hunter game, but they essentially still plays the same. The difference is it's just modernized, but it's the same game and the same type of gameplay and the same, and it sold 14 million copies and it was Capcom's biggest selling title ever, you know, and no one could figure out. These other game companies, EA had basically stated they just didn't see how. They didn't understand how the Star Wars game that they published, that DICE made and fucked up on Battlefront 2, that Monster Hunter World, and I did a video on this a couple years ago. How did that beat us? Because they respect their gamers. They will add things to Monster Hunter. They will do slight improvements to different things, change some mechanics, but they don't disrespect the player and change it so fundamentally that it's a completely different game. They kept it more or less the same, but they made it more accessible, and it became very successful because people were like, "Hey, this is more modernized. I can understand this." They changed something for the better and respected the people who's been playing the game for years, but they also respected new players. That's why it was successful. DICE and EA and Activision and Blizzard, Bungie, because I don't even want to get into Destiny 2, Ubisoft, you can go collectively go fuck yourselves. I hope that this would be a valuable learning lesson for you, because you're going to keep going and you're going to push it and keep doing things that nobody fucking asked you to do, and you will still get layoffs and all this other shit. And it's interesting because you've lost so much fucking money off your formulaic bullshit that the last time I heard, Ubisoft put Far Cry and Assassin's Creed off indefinitely because someone's looking to buy them. Interesting how that works. I'm going to leave you all tonight with this before I get into an actual video that's not a rant. You know, if you really want, as a gaming community, to facilitate change and to wake these fucking people up, don't fucking pre-order or buy any of this shit that's coming out. Just don't fucking do it. You have a million other options out there to play games that are similar or different or whatever. Just don't fucking do it. That's it. That's it. Don't do it. Because you're going to find that will be the biggest tell for these companies, that, wow, our audience quit playing and they walked away. We better do something different. That's what you need to do. Now, don't do that, man. Don't do it. Yeah, pre-order does need to go away. It's just silly. And so I feel like that a lot of people might, have their defenders and maybe they really like these games. You're fucking sheep. You're just following them because you're holding on. You have your kaleidoscope nostalgia glasses on because, hey, I remember 10 years ago when I used to play that game. It was so good. And now there's another one coming out. Man, maybe it'll be good and it'll bring me back to that time and from when I was, 10 years ago or 5 years ago when it was good, and I'll get to feel that way again. No, you're going to be feeling disappointed. And if you buy into that shit, sorry, you know, you're doing exactly what they want you to do. Because ultimately they don't give a shit about you or the community. They don't care. They're going to do like movies. We're going to give you a trailer or two. We're going to get you excited. We're going to get you to pre-order it. It's going to be some kind of live service shit. And if it's not that, there's going to be all these microtransactions. We're going to take away features. And we're going to make you buy this game. And then you're going to get it home. And there's going to be a day one patch. And it's still not going to fix a whole lot. And that's it. That's it. You'll have buyer's remorse. But you're stuck with the game. And so you feel obligated to play it. And then you start playing it. And you kind of, it's like a self-loathing. It's not going to work. And you know what they're going to say? Thanks for the money. I hope you buy the next one. Because we're going to put out the same shit with a different title on it in a different box. So please buy our game. I'm sorry. Please buy our cash money machine disguised as a game. Well, this has been a good episode of the Gaming Roundtable called Gaming Roundtable Rant. And John, I appreciate you listening in. Please come back here the next couple minutes. I'm going to show you my new favorite game, Dungeons and Sandaria. Don't listen to, there's virtually no reviews on this, which is weird. But there's just nothing on this. There's hardly anything except like a trailer and a little bit of gameplay here and there. But I want to show you this and give you an in-depth look at this. And there's been one guy that basically said it's the jankiest jank of all jank time on YouTube. I was like, wow, he was very critical. And there's been some stuff online that people wrote in a Reddit post that basically blistered this game terribly. But a lot of what they said was actually not accurate. So I'm 90% sure that they just didn't really play the game. But I'm going to be coming back with that. I'll start a new character in it to show you the process of that. And I'm going to show you why I like the game. And why I've been literally playing it pretty much the last couple days non-stop. It's been great. So come back to us here on the Gaming Roundtable, and please subscribe to Unpaid Gamers on YouTube.com and Twitch.com. Check out Posthuman Guy, check out the Band Loss, and check out me, People's Machine Gaming Roundtable. If you'd like to email me questions, comments, or perhaps like to or suggest a game I should play, please write me at gamingroundtable upg@gmail.com. That's gamingroundtableupg@gmail.com. And as always, gamers, good gaming.